Hello and welcome everybody to the Twins Off Daily podcast brought to you by twinsdaily.com. How the heck are you, Twins territory? I'm Sweet Lou Hennessy and I'm gathered here with two of Twins Daily's finest. Let's start with Mr. Cody Schoenman. What's up, Cody?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm very excited to provide instant analysis of these two signings. I know they just happened, so
Yeah,
it hasn't been a week or anything.
We are nothing if not punctual.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. That other ominous voice you hear is our dear friend Gregory Masterson. What's going on, dude?
Welcome to episode 30 of the Twins Off Daily podcast. That's a big one, I think. I don't know. They say the first 30 are the most difficult.
Yeah. And the most
Who
expensive.
is the best Twins player to ever wear 30? Is it PJ
Lamont
Walker?
Wade Jr.
Kevin Correa, probably.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
30.
I
And now
mean,
you're going to...
Carlos Santana, was he 30 last year?
No, he was 31.
Was he? Okay.
No,
I think he was 30 because he was 41 with Cleveland and with his
No,
own.
he was... I don't know about that.
Producer Lenny.
Producer
Anyway.
Lenny is on the case.
Episode 30, though. Hey, we made it. Look at this. I think we're starting to get the hang of things. Hence the research that's happening live on.
he was
on
30.
record here.
Santana was 30.
He was, yes. Most recently, before Santana, we had Kyle Garlick, Lamont Wade, James Beersford, Kevin Correa, Scott Baker, Jose Offerman, legend, James Baldwin, Buck Buchanan, Mike Morgan, Greg Olson, Terry Leach, and now we are back in 1990. So,
Dang. Wow,
Dave
that's a
Gold
murderer's
scored for a
row.
while. Whitey Herzog in the Senators' days wore 30.
Okay.
I don't know.
Are we going to do this every episode? Like next episode, are we going to do the best Twins players to ever wear 31?
Yes.
Shout out Devin
Cody.
Smeltzer.
Yeah, there we go. The smelts. Well, we're already having some fun here, but let's talk about our walk-off question. Let's tease it for something we'll answer at the end of the episode here. Today's walk-off question, since it is the day after the Super Bowl, we want to know which Super Bowl halftime performer do you think would be the best ball player? There's some pretty fun options, so think about that while we discuss the rest of the show here, and hopefully we can come back and actually remember to do it in proper time. But why don't we jump on over to our big inning topic, which is, guys, pitchers and catchers, they're reporting this week. Yeah, I always love that. Reporting. I like it's so official. Like, you gotta get here. Get here now. Is there any other job that has reporting for like the actual like start of their orientation or whatever?
I'm pretty sure every job has a day where you start, like you show up and you go to orientation.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of a job that doesn't. A blogger, you just kind of start going.
I mean, an actual like pretty good comparison. I don't mean to talk about myself all the time, but teaching, I mean, like you have the whole summer off and then you have like your first week of like meetings and then it's kind of like back into the swing. So that's kind of similar because you do have a extended break that other jobs don't really have.
All the teachers are rolling in and everybody's, looking at each other, see, who let themselves go a little bit over the summer, who's got to work off that off-season weight, who's in the best shape of their lives.
Oh, teachers and catchers report. You heard it here, folks.
There we go.
Nice. But actually, you know what? You bring up a really good point of guys who come into camp and they say, oh, I'm in the best shape of my life. Well, when was the bet? What do you consider you were in the best shape of your life? Do you guys have any time that you could come up with? I mean, Greg, it was probably back in 1992 when you were playing with the old Leatherheads out there. What do you think?
I ran for 2 miles, but I couldn't catch him. Honestly, the best shape of my, you don't often know like when the peak of your life is, but there actually was a moment where I was like looking at myself and I was like, this is probably the best shape I'm ever going to be in. I was in college and I spent a summer in Italy, weirdly enough, and I walked like 10 miles a day, ate pretty well. I had some like, back issues and shoulder issues and elbow issues like the entire year before. And I just took kind of the summer off, only did core exercises, stopped lifting weights. And weirdly enough, I was probably in the best shape of my life when I was like 21 coming off of a summer just hanging out in Italy.
You know what? That's just what the doctor ordered, I guess, huh?
I suppose so.
I think I peaked physically in high school. Hopefully I didn't peak in high school overall. But yeah, no, I think I definitely was like probably in the bed because I was in basketball and like I was doing like cardio and I was working out a lot. And then I stopped playing basketball because I wasn't good enough to play in college, sadly. So yeah, probably.
What was your player type, Cody?
What was my not good? No, I was
Hard
like
fouls, hard screens.
I was a 2 guard. I was good at perimeter defense. I had a baseball arm, so I was good at those full court passes.
Sorry, so I hate to ask it like this, but when you say you were a 2 guard, were you a 2 guard because you could shoot or because you couldn't dribble?
Both.
Yes.
It was,
and you weren't tall enough to play the 3. Okay, like many such cases of that.
This was Southeast Minnesota, Greg. I want you to think about just like the environment.
I have no idea what Southeast Minnesota means.
Not like a very rich talent pool.
But anyway, Cody was ripped. We know that because he was in the best shape of his life. So why don't we jump on into how this pertains to the Minnesota Twins?
Lou, you've got to tell us. You can't ask us when the best shape of our life.
Okay.
And then come on, brag about yourself, dude.
Mine would probably have to be during the pandemic when like gyms and stuff were all closed and everything. And the only thing I could do for workout was I lived in like a high-rise apartment building and I would walk the stairs like 20 floors up and down like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times or something, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it was like, 20 to 30 minutes at least of stairs every single day. And stairs is like, I feel like it's one of the better cardios, at least I've ever done. So I was cut during the pandemic and it's all gone downhill since then. But what do we think? Let's talk about the Minnesota Twins. My question for you is which Twins player is it most vital that they enter this camp in the best shape of their life? Of course, everybody is trying to, but like I'm talking about guys that are in position battles, guys who are trying to earn one of these spots, trying to open some eyes, raise some eyebrows. Who needs to be in the best shape of their life to make a good impression this spring training? Anybody come to mind for you two?
I don't know. I mean, there's no like every year I give away a Miguel Sano Memorial Best Shape of His Life award. And I don't think that there is a Twin right now who's like a Miguel Sano type where like there's no like massive Twins right now who are like constantly trying to find the best shape of their life. I don't know if like Byron Buxton counts as best shape of his life because like you just want this dude to be as healthy as possible. Carlos Correa as healthy as possible. Royce Lewis, I've heard, has like lost a lot of weight, has stopped trying to bulk up and is kind of slimmed down for mobility and those types of things. Mickey Gasper. That's my pick. He's got to be in the best shape of his life if he wants to make this team as like your, I don't know, 3rd or 4th guy on the bench. Mickey Gasper, we've got to have him in great shape.
Let's do it. Yeah. Cody, anybody else?
I think when you're talking about Buxton, it's kind of just like he's a known commodity. He's gonna be injured in the season. You're gonna try to minimize it. You hope for 100 games, but you just go from there. I don't think there's really much more expectation to have. I think with Correa, like there still is a future where he could combat his plantar fasciitis and get past that. Like there's reason.
Luckily, he's only got 2.
Yeah, but I mean, it still could go away. Like realistically, it's not impossible. So there is hope there. Maybe there's a lot of speculation with his shoes and stuff like that, but maybe he is able to figure it out. Another interesting storyline will be Chris Paddock coming off the full season after his second Tommy John. Going into the season, it looks like Paddock will be a part of the rotation as long as he's with the team. So maybe there is some bounce back potential there.
Hey, really quick, new segment alert. Here's a new segment that we're going to do on the Twins Off Daily podcast. It's called, Is Chris Paddock Still a Twin? And today, at the time of recording, February 10th, 2025, Chris Paddock is still a Twin.
Yes.
Now, back to what you were saying, Cody.
We'll check in on that later in the episode, too, just in case.
I can't believe I triggered the segment before the 10-minute mark. Okay, well, Paddock, yeah, and then
Confirmed, he's still a Twin.
Okay, well, Cody is trying to console whatever himself. I do want to say, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you know who needs to come in good shape, like maybe the best shape of his life, is Harrison Bader. Because listen, basically he's like filling the Manuel Margot role right now. And if there's one thing that kind of dominated Manuel Margot's spring training, not that he necessarily wasn't in shape, but he probably wasn't in the best shape of his life if, like, the second day of spring training, they looked at him and said, oh, this guy's not a center fielder anymore. Let's hope that that's not going to happen. I'm sorry. I just looked at Cody, who is still beside himself with his mic muted. We really need to hope that Harrison Bader is not falling into that one. But Lou, who do you think needs to be in the best shape of their life?
Yeah, look, Harrison Bader's a good one. For those who only get their Twins news through the Twins Off Daily podcast, the Twins went out and secured a free agent, Harrison Bader. He's a pretty high-level defensive center fielder, couldn't play some corner outfield. He's going to be kind of a backup plan for Byron Buxton. But yes, Harrison Bader, he definitely needs to be in the best shape of his life, and I think his mullet specifically needs to be in the best shape of its life. It needs to be looking its finest because he's going to play a pretty important role, whether that's as a true backup to Buxton or if it's, carving out a platoon role with Wallner or with Larnach or with whoever, left-handed in that outfield mix. Greg, you actually wrote something recently about that, didn't you?
Yeah, I basically just kind of looked at kind of the path towards Harrison Bader being a contributor for this team. He is going to get a lot of run in center field. Byron Buxton is not going to play every day, whether that is off days, whether that's DH days, whether that is he's injured, whether those injuries are for a few days or weeks or months. I think it's pretty safe to say, like, Harrison Bader would be needed, like, I don't know, at least like 50 games in center field. And then beyond that, looking at him as potentially a platoon guy paired with Matt Wallner and Trevor Larnach. He's not like a great hitter. He's got up and down performance year to year. Overall, he is about a 20% better than average hitter against lefties over his career, or maybe 10 to 20, somewhere in there. So not like a great hitter, but he probably will outperform Larnach and Wallner. And at the very least, and this is one of the things that I think is kind of, I don't know. It's not the most obvious strength to playing somebody like Bader in the corners in a platoon role. But even if he's just like roughly the same as Wallner and Larnach, he's going to be a much better defender, and a run saved is a run earned. And so as long as he can be like on their level, slightly better, or, hopefully it's considerably better, but if he can just be around the same or slightly better, he's going to make up for whatever loss they're taking, I guess. As long as he's not like used as a pinch hitter and, in the fourth inning, like Rocco likes to do. But I'm moderately hopeful for the Harrison Bader signing to work out.
Yeah, I'm curious how many games he's going to finish strictly. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to be an option that can come in the middle of the game, whether that's maybe a pinch hitter or even on the base paths. I think he's going to end up finishing like most games. I think we've seen Rocco do that with guys in the past too, especially when hopefully there's protecting a lead, throwing, or if it's a close game, throwing the defensive whiz out there. But another little bit of news for those folks that maybe are not as tuned in. The Twins also signed a relief pitcher, lefty Danny Coulombe. He was on the Twins a few years ago. He's spent the last 2 seasons with the Baltimore Orioles, and when he's been healthy, he's been really, really good. So they basically signed him to be a Caleb Thielbar replacement. He's like, 35 right now. So kind of that veteran lefty. I know the other name that I was thinking of that needs to be in the best shape of their lives, and that's Joan Duran. Remember last year he had kind of a rough spring. He came in and he got hurt pretty quickly and just could never really turn the heat all the way up, it seemed like, throughout the season. Maybe it was because of a lack of a runway. I'm hoping that he's healthy and that he has more of like a normal spring and like a normal start to the season, because hopefully we get last year he was really good, but hopefully we get, rookie year Yohan Duran or 2023 Yohan Duran. But
yeah, just to add another idea, I think also Brooks Lee will be important to monitor his health too, see how his back can hold up. But to go off the Coulombe point too, I think it's important to note that the Twins realistically have 5 high leverage relievers now. They have Duran, Jax, Stewart, if he's healthy, we think he is, Alcala, and now Coulombe. Like, those are all pitchers you'd be,
Did you just skip over Cole Sands?
Sorry, they have 6. They have 6 high leverage relievers. I mean, I guess you could take out Alcala and add Sands. I mean, there still is some question about Alcala, but there's probably 5 to 6 guys you feel comfortable using in like the 8th inning of a 1-run game. And Michael Tonkin too. I mean, there's reason to be somewhat comfortable with him. I know he's not a ideal high leverage arm, but he is a reliever you'd be comfortable with. So the Twins have a lot of depth in their bullpen. There's still some young guys coming up. There is Louis Varlin, maybe Connor Prelip, Travis Adams is at AAA now on the 40-man roster. So I think, Iverson Castellano too, whether he stays with the Twins or not, we'll see. But I think there's a lot to be excited about with the Twins bullpen. And I think Coulombe really fortifies it because, earlier this offseason, you're operating under the assumption that Cody Funderburk and Brett Hedrick are your top lefty relievers. And that's not a place you want to be in entering a 162-game season. So it was really nice to see Coulombe come back to Minnesota.
Yeah, you're like you. Oh, sorry, Greg. Go ahead. You got something?
I was going to say, I don't know if I would say I'm like super comfortable with Coulombe in the 8th inning. But I think that he's a really nice option in the 6th and 7th who, like, if you're in a pinch, you can absolutely go to Coulombe. And I think Justin Topa is also a name that you want to throw out there. I mean, if you kind of have the back end that we're hoping the Twins have, where it's Jax, Duran, Sands, and Stewart, you are pushing like Jorge Alcala to the 6th and the 7th. You're pushing Michael Tonkin to almost exclusively be like a 5th inning arm. If Iverson Castellano is there, like, you're not going to lean on him hardly at all, other than to just eat innings in a loss or a blowout, whatever. Justin Topa is a guy who you'd feel good in the late innings if he is who he was like 2 years ago. We haven't seen that. But you feel really good if you've got Justin Topa like throwing your 6th inning.
Yeah, it's definitely a really crowded picture out in that bullpen for sure. One area where the Twins might not necessarily be super crowded is kind of their bench and DH options. And Cody, I know that you had something that just came out for Twins Daily talking about a couple options that if they were still trying to add somebody at the last minute here, they could look into. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so recently Bobby Nightingale released a piece at the Minnesota Star Tribune, not the Minneapolis, where he was talking about the Twins being interested in backup infielders, and he mentioned Paul DeYoung and Luis Urias. Overall, I mean, I wouldn't be against signing those players, but at the same time, I feel like the Twins already have a pretty set infield, assuming you're still going to play Willie Castro at shortstop. And I know Dan Hayes sent a tweet out saying that Castro might spend some time at first base, but I mean, that would kind of mitigate his value because his value resides in the fact that he can back up Correa and he could theoretically back up Buxton. He could play second base. He could play third base. If you're going to stretch him to these corner spots in the name of, avoiding burnout, that kind of gets rid of some of his value. So I think it would be smart for the team to keep Castro in his role, played out for the final year of his deal, and then go after like a first baseman.
I want to say really quick, do you know what the league average WRC plus? So basically where league average is 100. If you're above 100, you are an above average league hitter. If you've got a 105 OPS plus, it's 5% above league average. Can you guys tell me what the league average WRC plus for a first baseman in 2024 is?
I bet it's
104.
I bet it's lower than we think it is. I bet it's like 97.
It was 100 or it was 107. which is solidly-ish above average. Like in the early 2000s, it was like 120. Like first basemen were just these gargantuan, larger-than-life figures. These days, like first basemen are generally better than average. You know, they kind of have to be to have a role. But so it was 107. Can anybody tell me off the top of their head what Willie Castro's WRC plus in 2004 or 24 and 2023 were? It was the same number both times.
Like 111.
It was 108.
Yeah.
Okay.
So technically, Willie Castro, if he was a first baseman, would technically be an above average hitting first baseman in the modern baseball.
It's pretty wild.
I don't like it. I don't want Willie Castro to be pigeonholed into first base. But I found that to be a very strange statistic.
Yeah. So if they don't look to Willie Castro, Cody, who do you suggest they look into?
So I wrote a piece talking about Justin Turner and Anthony Rizzo as possible candidates. So if you're looking at the two, Rizzo was not very good last year with the Yankees, and that's being with a lefty hitting most of his games at Yankee Stadium. I think he posted somewhere around like a 92 WRC plus against right-handed pitching, and his obviously lefty on lefty splits, he was at like a 77, if not lower, hovering around their WRC plus. Turner, on the other hand, was pretty split proof. He had a WRC plus in the mid-teens against righties and lefties. He played less innings at first base he played less innings at first base than Rizzo, obviously, because Rizzo's kind of only over at first, and Turner plays third and DH a lot. So that is kind of an interesting element to where if you wanted a defense first baseman to platoon with Miranda, Rizzo might be the more intriguing option. But at the same time, his offense has kind of plummeted so much where it's like, I don't know if he's much better than Edouard Julien or Mickey Gasper or even Mike Ford at this point. So ideally, I would love the Twins to maybe pursue Turner. That said, I think he might be too expensive, even though the team just did spend $10 million this past week. He's probably going to get somewhere between $5 and $7 million. I don't know if the team's willing to stretch their budget out that far. Rizzo might get closer to $2 to $3 million, and they might be able to, divvy that money up. Last week, I also wrote about Mark Hanna, and I still love the idea of the team bringing him in. He's played first base for most of his games last year between the Giants and the Tigers, but signing Bader might make him redundant because the team has the corner outfield depth, and he does spend a lot of time in the corner outfield. So there still are some interesting options left. I would be happy with the team bringing in Turner, Canna, or Rizzo. I would prefer Canna over the three of them. But I think at this stage, if you're still operating under the assumption that the front office still has monetary limits, I think Rizzo might be the only option available. And I think, although it could backfire, it would be a 1-year deal. And I think it will be worth it in the long run. But again, you're kind of bargain bin shopping right now. I wouldn't say Canna's a bargain bin option, probably not even Turner, but Rizzo's kind of at the point where he might be like a bargain bin guy.
With the depth where it is with this team, if you were the Twins, would you rather pay $6-7 million to Justin Turner or to Chris Paddock? And if you could only choose one, because that'd be similar value, right? Paddock's on like a 1 year, $7 million, something like that.
I'd pick Turner and ride out with Festa and with Richardson and Morris and Raya as depth in the 4 and 5 slots. I think Turner would add more value. I mean, I know starting pitching is like the most valuable thing in the game, but I would definitely pick Turner over Paddock at this point.
Greg, what do you think?
Especially if the alternative is Anthony Rizzo. If the Twins sign Anthony Rizzo, I'm sorry. I don't know what threat I'm going to make, but whatever threat I'm going to make, I'm probably going to have to follow through with it because they're probably going to sign Anthony. Anthony Rizzo just does not fit on this team. He's left-handed. Jose Miranda hits righties better than lefties. They've also got Edouard Julien. Anthony Rizzo is not the guy he used to be, and it's been quite a while since he was that guy. I'm not super high on them going and finding like a backup shortstop. I would rather they find a backup shortstop for the money that they would pay Anthony Rizzo. In
Yeah.
terms of if we're talking about Chris Paddock or Justin Turner, I don't know, man. I'm not super high on Justin Turner. He is 40. He
Yeah.
is older than Carlos Santana.
Mm-hmm.
He obviously, like, eventually 40-year-olds just kind of stop hitting. And he has like one of the slowest swings in baseball right now. And, you know, one of the things that goes quickest and continues to drop off is your bat speed as you age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you become a smarter hitter, all of those different things, you become stronger, but like your ability to put the bat on the ball does not go well. Like your ability to make like solid contact, swing the bat hard, those both kind of go down the tube as you get older. And eventually, like, he can only get like so slow, I guess. It is kind of reassuring that he is like one of the slowest swingers in the league, and he's still making, you know, legitimate, you know, he's a legitimate producer. But I don't know, man.
I really think Canna is still the perfect guy. Like I would be so happy if they brought in Mark Canna, but it just, I don't know.
Why don't we just get Galaxy Brain and drop something on the trade simulator where they send Chris Paddock to Baltimore and get Ryan Mountcastle, and they give up, like, I don't know, Marco Raya in the deal, something silly like that.
Why do I feel like you've already drawn this up in the trade simulator?
You're acting like I have a subscription to the trade simulator, which is something I would never admit.
Of course not.
If you use Cody Bunderfurk 2 off seasons ago, you could get Kobe Mayo and Ryan Mountcastle.
Cody Funderburk is still like ridiculously. Justin Topa as well. I think they both have like a trade value of 8, which is basically enough to just get Ryan Mountcastle straight up at this point. If you're using the trade simulator.
Well, we could get Nolan Arenado, who's at like a -60 for Cody Funderburk.
Yeah, you know what? Let's give him a call. Let's see.
And prospects.
Yeah, that's a pretty nifty deal. Clearly, there are no flaws to this system, to this network that he's made. I don't know. What do we think? Anybody else? Any other storylines that you're trying to keep track of for as spring training opens later this week, guys?
Yeah, I think the team has one more signing in them.
Yeah,
it probably will be
one more acquisition.
Or trade. I don't think it'll be anything big. Like I know Tristan Casas has been floated around. I don't think it'll be that. But I think the team has one more acquisition, and I think it will be a corner bat.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're probably trying to choose between having like Mickey Gasper on the roster. Like Michael Hellman just got traded for cash. Sorry, Cody, I don't know if you heard, but poor Ronnie Henriquez got DFA'd. I'm wondering if he is going to slip through the cracks there.
I'm optimistic.
I don't know,
but. Maybe.
They've still got, like, right now, if they would basically have either like Edouard Julien or Brooks Lee or Willie Castro. 2 of those 3 would be penciled into the starting lineup right now. And then you'd have Mickey Gasper on the bench, guaranteed, and potentially one of those other guys, potentially not. Like if they don't like Edouard Julien when he shows up to camp and they'd send him to St. Paul, I don't know who takes that other bench. Like there's got to be another addition. I do think, though, that another storyline is they're probably going to find like a Mike Ford type. I don't know. They might like call up Ty France and give him an invite to spring training with a major league option, and he gets $2 million if he makes the team out of camp or something like that. I could see something like that happening, and it gives me a headache.
Was this a fever dream, or didn't the Twins sign Mike Ford?
Yeah, like I've said, like another Mike Ford. Like,
okay.
Like, because Mike Ford is on a straight up minor league deal. I don't think that there are any options on his deal. I think it's just a minor league deal with an invitation to camp. Which, those are 2 different things. If you because it's possible to sign a guy to a minor league deal with an option. Basically, there's a deadline where if you don't call him up by a certain point, he can opt out, become a free agent. And, there'd be a little bit more money attached. Mike Ford, I think they can just keep on the minor league roster for the entire season. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like that, again, gets signed. I don't know who that is. I don't know if that's Yuli Gurriel or what.
Oh, please no.
Hey, he was in the playoffs last year with the Royals.
He was hitting cleanup for the Royals
Mhm.
sometimes last year.
Tommy Pham and Robbie Grossman.
Wow.
Oh man. Think about that team.
Yeah.
That's just that at one point those Royals were just kind of like a collection of random guys that Twins fans really want the Twins to go get.
Yeah. No doubt. All right. Well, I think you know what? It's been about 20 minutes. We should probably check in on our newest segment just to see what, I don't know. Greg, can you let us in?
Still a Twin. I don't know. Has anybody checked Twitter?
He still a Twin.
He's still a Twin. So we'll flip over. Yes, Chris Paddock is still a Twin.
Glad we checked. We will be keeping an eye on that. But for right now, let's move on over to the next segment. It's everybody's favorite. We've heard a ton of these over the last 24 hours or so. We got Gregory's Gripes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cody said this in the Slack chat. Greg was definitely somebody who could not understand what Kendrick Lamar was saying during the halftime performance last night. I just have a hunch. But Greg, what are you griping about today?
Well, I did not understand it because the mixing was bad. That's all.
Okay.
Right. They did not do a great job in the mixing and the production quality of it. I'm sure that he was terrific. Shout out Serena Williams. Okay, so what was that, Cody?
Samuel L. Jackson did a really good job too in his role.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
That was fun. Introducing himself as Uncle Sam, that was very fun. But I'm supposed to be mad. Okay, actually, my gripe is about the halftime show and about the commercials. Okay. Stop complaining about the commercials and stop complaining about the halftime show. My goodness. Do you guys, is this your first Super Bowl? Like, okay, I'm going to start with the commercials. I actually am a huge fan of the Super Bowl commercials. Yes, there are very few good Super Bowl commercials, but we've got a little bit of an SNL thing going on where everybody's like, oh, the commercials were so much better back in the... No, they weren't. There was really good commercials. Just like every year, there is some really fun, catchy commercials. And, you know, you sit through the rest of them and you're like, why is the seal talking? And, you know, those types of things. It kind of creeps you out. Maybe like your father-in-law is like, turn this crap off, you know, all those. But stop complaining about the commercials. I don't want to hear about like how you're like, oh, I hate watching the game with people who care about the commercials. No, it's part of the pomp and the circumstance of the Super Bowl. That's what you're supposed to do. You watch the commercials, stop talking over the commercials. It is part of the game. I don't care how big of a football fan you are. It is the most casual football environment in the world. Stop trying to, you know, flex because you know what a Tampa 2 is. Everybody knows what a Tampa 2 is. Like, just play along. Watch the darn Super Bowl commercials. And the same thing with the halftime shows. No, there hasn't been a good Super Bowl halftime show like ever. And I know I'm talking on a Minnesota sports podcast. Prince, the bar is like the floor. Like, he was probably the best Super Bowl halftime show. It wasn't actually that good. The bar is just so low. It's a live performance streamed over, like, you know, TV. It's always going to be bad. And it might not be for you any given year. Who the heck cares? Like, all Super Bowl halftime shows are just fine. And that's okay. You don't have to have a super strong opinion on it one way or the other. They're just fine. Stop complaining about the commercials. Stop complaining about the Super Bowl halftime show. It's the Super Bowl. This is like one of the only things that Americans get together to do. It's like one of our only shared cultural touch points anymore. Like, there is no like finale of MASH in our world anymore. Like, this is what we get together as Americans to do. I don't care that it's like not funny or that the show isn't that good. Just shut up and engage in it, because this is what you're supposed to do. Know your role and shut your mouth. Gosh, dang it. Just enjoy it, man. I'm the person who's always like, oh, dude, everything sucks. No, you suck. Just enjoy the Super Bowl. Play along. It's okay.
I love when Greg has gripes about other people's gripes. The gripeception. I love it. Yeah, Greg? So you brought up the finale to MASH. I know that you were right up 2 inches away from that fuzzy TV screen watching.
It zapped my daggum nose. The static of it just like made like I burnt off my nose hair.
Oh, good. Well, got to get rid of it somehow. Greg, that was a good one.
I actually learned my speech pattern from Alan Alda, and I had to go to a speech pathologist until I was 12 to stop talking like him.
Really?
No, I made that up, but
yeah,
that'd be funny if it's true. I love Alan Alda's voice so much.
Do you do an impression?
No, I don't. I couldn't
do it. No,
well, you're got to be working on it.
I actually I can't.
We're gonna
do it.
I physically can't.
Do it. Don't make me sing.
We're going to do 2 new segments. It's going to be Chris Paddock, Is He Still a Twin? And Cody Schoenman doing Alan Alda.
Remember I saw a video of Bill Hader doing an impression of him recently, and it was great. Here, let me look it up really quick. I'll come back to you.
What, are you going to play it on the podcast?
Well, if I mute myself, you guys can't hear it, right?
No.
Okay, never mind.
I don't know what. That's really bad radio, Cody. All right, so Cody,
Lou, take your hosting. Take your
impression of Alan Alda, and then unmute yourself, and we'll move on.
Can we just move forward?
We're gonna move forward. Greg, thank you very much for those gripes. But before we run out of time on the episode today, we got to play a game. So let's boogie on over to the closer. Okay, so this episode's game, we're going to do Stump the Schoen, but really we've been talking about this for a little bit. I feel like we've been playing Stump the Schoen all wrong up until tonight. Before, we've had it where Cody is kind of the host and he comes up with the topic. And for those of you who don't know what Stump the Schoen is, the contestants will go one by one trying to get through all the names on a given list that I give them, and the first person to fail to come up with one or to repeat, they get this one's pretty tough, so I'm going to say we have 3 strikes each. It's not usually we just have 1 strike and you're out, but this time I think we're going to go with 3 strikes because this one could be a little trickier. Anyway, so I think we've been playing this all wrong because usually Cody is the one who's kind of hosting this, and it's me and Greg playing against each other, maybe with a guest or something. But how are we really stumping the Schoen in that case? So we're going to let Cody actually be a contestant this time, and he is going to play against Greg, who is trying to stump the Schoen. These two are going to come up. They're going to go name by name. The Minnesota Twins 2022 opening day roster. And actually, this was a year when they had a 28-man roster. So if we run out of space, we'll just move over into
we do have 28
note section.
On this.
Oh, we do? Okay, good. All right. So since we're stumping the Schoen, let's start with Cody himself. Cody, can you name somebody that was on the Minnesota Twins opening day roster in 2022? That was just 3 years ago.
Yeah. Byron Buxton.
Byron Buxton. That's correct. Greg, okay. You're next.
2022. Carlos Correa.
Correct. Yep. Cody.
2022. Luis Arias.
Luis Arias, that is correct. Yeah. Greg?
I'm going to go with Gary Sanchez.
Gary Sanchez, the backup catcher. That is a good one. Cody, you are next.
Kenta Maeda.
Kenta Maeda was not on the Twins opening day roster in 2022. So Cody has 1 strike.
He was on the IL, yeah?
I think he must have been.
That's embarrassing.
Okay, so Greg, you're next. Cody has 1 strike.
We get 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Gio Urshela.
Gio Urshela, third base. That's correct. Cody?
Gosh. Opening day, Kepler?
Kepler, yep, that's correct. He was in right field. And that brings us to Greg.
Jorge Polanco.
Yep, that's right. Polo, he was at second. Cody.
Okay. Trying to think who'd be out in left field. Okay, wait. Starting pitching 2022 opening day. Joe Ryan was the opening day starter, right?
He was on the roster. We'll just leave it there. Yep, that's correct. Greg?
Then I will follow up with Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray. Yep, that's right. Cody? I'm sorry, am I going really fast for this?
No. Dylan Bundy.
Dylan Bundy, that's a good one. Yep, he was in the rotation for the entire season. Greg?
Well, his partner in crime, Chris Archer.
Oh, yes, partner in crime. Cody?
Trying to think about the bullpen. Emilio Pagan.
Emilio Pagan, good pull.
And I will go Chris Paddock.
Yeah.
Chris Paddock. Yeah, they actually started the year with like a 6-man starting rotation. Just throwing that out there. Just saying. A little clue for y'all.
Ryan Jeffers.
Ryan Jeffers. Yep. Catcher.
Tyler Duffy.
Tyler Duffy. Yes.
Oh yeah, he got DFA'd that year. Oh my gosh. Left field, fourth outfielder. Gilberto Celestino.
Celestino. That is a good pull, man.
I did not know he broke camp with left field, I believe, was Alex Kirilloff.
Yes, Alex Kirilloff.
Okay, first base, 2022. Miguel Sano.
There you go.
Yes.
The Twins son, Miguel Sano. Okay, so you actually only have. I'm gonna let you in on a little clue. Okay, just so we get this going. There's only one position player remaining.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of pitchers though.
So they only had a 3-man bench.
They only did. Yep, because they went with the 6-man starting rotation.
I did not realize that they hadn't made the 13 minimum rule.
Yeah.
Okay. No, he played his way in late in the season, so it wasn't him.
I'll give you a quick hint. There's probably 3 or 4 pitchers that are currently on the Twins roster that are still yet to be.
Yeah, so Caleb Thielbar was on this roster.
Thielbar, yep, that's one.
You say 3 or 4?
Yeah, there's a small handful.
Okay. Well, I know Alex Coulombe.
Alex Coulombe was not on the Twins in 2022.
That was 21, yeah.
Yeah.
So Cody has 2 strikes. Greg?
I'm gonna go with. Oh my gosh, I just lost it. Shoot. Okay.
This is
Ryan
getting
Gray,
dicey.
Bundy, Archer, Paddock.
I'll give you 5 seconds.
Okay. Reliever.
All right, Greg gets 1 strike on that one. So Cody, we're going over to you. Clock starts over.
Duran was on the team.
Yes, that's correct. Joan Duran. Opening day roster. That's correct. All right, Greg?
Jorge Alcala was on this team.
That's correct. Yep, Jorge Alcala. Let's see. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more in the bullpen, and 1 who was a starter, and 1 position player.
Griffin Jacks.
And no
Really?
Griffin Jacks, and that means that Gregory has successfully stumped the Schoen. Unbelievable! It's not like Cody to lose one of our games. Greg, do you have anybody that you can name before we wrap it all up and I spill the beans?
Ooh, okay. Can you give me a hint on who the 6th starter is?
Is it Bailey Ober?
It's Bailey Ober.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
correct.
Okay.
You know what? Cody's back in the game. There he is. He just earned it back.
Where was this like 5 seconds ago?
Yeah.
I see it Ober in my mind the whole. I don't know. Yeah, that's so stupid of me.
All right, all the starting pitchers are gone. There's 1, 2, 3, 4,
I'm back
5
in the game.
relievers.
Let's go.
5 relievers and 1 position player. I'll give you a hint. The position player was a former 1st-round draft pick.
Was Trevor Larnach on the bench?
It was not Trevor Larnach.
Now we're tied 2-2.
Sure, yeah. You are sure. You got anything, Cody?
Yeah, here, let me think really quick.
Sorry, he wasn't on the. No, Nick Gordon was not on the opening day roster, right?
Nick Gordon was on the opening day roster.
Okay.
Was 2022 not the year that everybody? No, okay, no, yeah, you're right. Okay,
Okay,
right.
28-man roster, right?
Yeah.
Jean Romero.
That's correct. I didn't think anybody was going to get it. Jean Romero, who didn't pitch, I don't think, an inning for the Twins. I'm pretty
sure. But he was the
backup,
backup, or he was an emergency catcher.
Yeah, that too. He was the emergency catcher. He was a relief pitcher. Immediately went on the IL before pitching, I want to say, and was out the whole year. Okay, there's a few other names blast from the past. One of them,
Josh Winder on this.
Josh Winder is on the list. That's a good one. The last one that is still in the big leagues is Mr. Danny Coulombe. I thought where you were going for, Cody, but you went with Alex Coulombe. A little of Coulombe, a little of Coulombe. No, but let's see. The other names that you have since forgotten about, Jarrell Cotton, and then also Mr. Joe Smith.
Oh my gosh, yes. Joe Smith was the one I was trying to remember. I remember
really good.
There was some old dude who he signed the exact same day as Carlos Correa, and I was just like, I was going through my Rolodex and just washed up pictures. Oh my gosh, he was electric for like 2 months in 2022.
Electric, that's for sure. You know what? That was a good one. That was pretty fun. Greg, congratulations on stumping the Schoen. I kind of liked this new layout. I liked having Cody as one of the contestants. I think that's pretty fun.
Do we need to go back and forth, the two of us, setting up Cody to
pretty much.
Off?
We'll throw in some guests or something. We'll make somebody else do it. But anyway, let's wrap this thing up. Let's go back to our walk-off question, which is, which Super Bowl halftime performer do you think would be the best baseball player? I'm going to start. I'm going to say that Kendrick Lamar, I could see him being like a Terrence Gore style player where he just super short, really speedy little guy. I think Kendrick Lamar is like 5'5" or something like that. A very respectable 5'5". I don't know. Guys, any other ones come to mind?
Cody, what do you got?
Do you remember the guy who was in the toga during the Madonna halftime show, and he was like bouncing around like on a string, on a cord?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember Madonna having a halftime show.
Oh yeah, she did back in during the Obama administration. And then the guy I picked was Dan Aykroyd. I have no explanation behind it, but they did a Blues Brothers.
Okay.
98 with him and John Belushi and John Goodman. And I think Aykroyd was like tall, so maybe he could be like a corner outfielder. There's not good options. There's not a good option for guys.
Dude, Belushi was right there. You didn't take Belushi? I feel like he's got for one reason or another, he had a lot of energy, so he might be a pretty good player too. Greg, any names come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Bruno Mars, he's quite short, so small strike zone. You know, he could at least maybe be an on base percentage machine. Thought the left shark from Katy Perry's performance could be a pretty good platoon hitter, maybe.
Yep.
I don't know. I threw Prince under the bus like 20 minutes ago, so I probably have to say like Prince. Personal friend of Kirby Puckett or whatever, at least he was good at basketball. I don't know. Maybe he has a little bit of baseball in him. You know who it is not going to be, though? 2-3 years ago, 50 Cent was one of the halftime performers. And, I have seen that man's first pitch. I don't want this guy anywhere near my baseball team, unless we're trying to Chuck Knobloch and Keith Olbermann's mom type scenario.
Fitty just had the yips. That's what you're telling me.
Something like that, guys. I actually, you know what? I posted on Twitter and everybody thought I was joking around, but I actually saw Emmanuel Clase pull a Keith Olbermann's mom during spring training last season. I was in Arizona, and I went to a Guardians spring training game in Goodyear, and Emmanuel Clase spun like on a pickoff throw and just airmailed it straight over Naylor's head and like into the fourth row of the bleachers. And it was like, in spring training, like the fields don't have the same net setup. So I feel like it's such a foreign like thing now because we never see that happen. Yeah. I was flabbergasted. It was like 20 feet away from me. And I saw just like somebody just get hit straight in the face by his pickoff throw. So I knew that he was going to melt down in the playoffs. I knew he clearly have it in him. Couldn't handle the pressure of spring training.
You wrote that down. Oh man. Okay. Well, hey, pretty fun. Any other names come to mind before we wrap it up? I wanted to throw some Bruce Springsteen. Throw that speedball by you. I don't know. There's something there. Make it up yourself. Anyway, any last parting words, guys?
Andrew Steendion.
You said it, man. Cody, thanks for playing.
Cody, are you too young to know what Andrew Steendion is?
I don't even know like what you're saying.
Andrew Steendion. It's a word.
Andrew Steendion.
Andro Steendion, or just Andro. Does that mean anything to you, Cody? Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
Baby Cody.
Oh Andrew, my gosh. Do you know who Mark McGuire was, Cody?
Yeah.
Okay, are you familiar with the time that Mark McGuire was doing an interview and he just had steroids sitting on the top shelf of his locker behind him?
Is that what he took?
Yeah, Andrew Steendion is one of the drugs that he was taking.
Oh. I thought you were saying like some like Italian guy's name, like Andrew Dean Stione or something like that.
Andrew Steendion.
No, I would never speak well of the Italians.
Okay, we gotta go.
On that note, everybody,
and with that,
hey, thank you very much for joining us on the Twins Off Daily podcast. Please leave us a 5-star review. Tell your friends. We're trying to get more people to join the party here. But thanks for making it with us. And as always, stay sweet. Stadion.
Don't even get me started on the Sicilian.